Yo, what's going on? My name is Adam Dedik. I'm honored and excited to be able to kind of share my opinion on the city of Allegory. Extremely high. I believe two reasons. One, because Brady, as we know, if you followed his career in cross movement, is a lyrical beast. He is someone who can transform words to mean multiple things. Two, I think my expectation was high because his first book, The Death of Hip Hop, Marriage and Morals, when I read that book, I was saying to myself, like, this guy's got something. He's got a talent for writing. We knew that, but now to put it into kind of a book form, I figured this would be dope. This book was so dope because I got the book. I ordered the book when it came out, and then I got it at 8 o'clock at night, and I read the first chapter, and then once I finished the first chapter, I couldn't stop. So I ended up finishing the book around like 3 a.m., 4 a.m., somewhere around there. When I stopped reading the book, I actually went back and read the first chapter because it reminded me of like a Quentin Tarantino film where it doesn't necessarily start where the beginning necessarily starts, which I love. That's one of my favorite things about stories. Is when you can bust in a story and then take time to explain the other stories that happened and the integral moving parts of the overall story. I think so that's why, because once you start the book and then it goes into it, then you get finished, you're like, wait a minute, I have to go back to read the book. So that's exactly what I did. It was like 4 a.m. when I finished the book, and I was like, dang, I gotta read the first chapter again. So I did, and then I took a break. I remember texting my friends who got the book the same night and being like, yo, how many references did you pull out, how many this, and like when I got done reading the book, I felt like there was so much more to talk about that it deserved a second read, and I ended up reading it 4 times. So it was just one of those things that just, it kept me interested, and I better see a second book. That's all I'm saying. There better be a whole collection of these books sitting on my shelf. How biblical this story is. How right then, it's like a commentary in itself. It's able to bring up things to your remembrance. It's able to bridge gaps between things that you already kind of know, and it's also to kind of just it's exciting as a Christian to kind of read a story and to also know that there is an influence behind it all. What stood out to me as I was reading this book was that Brady is also free. And when I say free, I mean The Death of Hip Hop, Marriage and Morals was an investigative look. It was very fact-based. It was very based on statistics. Whereas the city of Allegory is free form. I mean, it's a creative idea. It's one of those things that when you read the Chronicles of Narnia or the Lord of the Rings, or when you watch a TV show like Lost or something like that has intricate creative stories built interwoven in between, you can see that there is free form here, that there is no system of fact that has to proceed. You don't need to say this to mean this and this in the time. So that stood out to me. I was like, yo, Brady is on to something here. He's doing what I feel that he's been doing since he's been rapping, and it's nice for him to kind of, I feel, kind of break out and to give something very creative. Now, one of my favorite characters, to be honest, I read the book a few times, I forget his name, but is the old dude. If you read the book, you know who I'm talking about. This dude is one of those old guys in the story that you kind of wish that your church always had these guys, and like some churches do, like our church does, like has these old folks of wisdom and stuff like that. There's this old guy in there, and when he pops into the scene, it's really cool because he just starts like spitting stuff that is like, man, I would love to talk to this dude. Just how bold he was, and kind of how his story begun and ended. Just the advice that he gave. It was like a really cool character in a younger crowd book who kind of stood tall. I would definitely recommend this book. This book, to me, I didn't grow up on Chronicles. I didn't grow up on Lord of the Rings. I didn't grow up on the John Bunyan series. I didn't grow up on any of these adventure stories, and I started coming into that later in life when I became an adult. So I would recommend this book to anyone, new Christians, old Christians, kids my age, non-Christians, especially I believe a younger generation would really like this book, especially since books aren't really being read that much. So I would recommend this book for anyone, for my parents, for my friends. You know, one of my guys that I love dearly. I gave him my copy because I just wanted him to read it, and he loved it. He texted me and was like, "This is great." So the book is cross-generational. It's dope. So make sure you pick it up, and we look forward to seeing whatever else happens with this series. I hope this book in this series goes like 10 to 20 deep, where it's just keep story after story after story, and layer after layer.